What's going on, everybody? Tuesday, December 6th. Public rundown for you right here. I got some kind of cool things to talk to you about, so I hope you're willing to sit and listen a little bit, and then we'll tell you about the report. I got a chance yesterday, I think it was, to sit down and have a candid conversation with one of the finest and best guys that we have on this lake. He's been here for, I think, 38 years, 40 years. For the sake of respect and what I'm about to share our conversation was about and things, I am not going to say his name. Two reasons. Number one, the drama around Lake Fork is pathetic and pitiful. There are truly men guides here that are so high school level, it's sad. That's not even the right word. Their own dad would beat the brakes off them the way they act and behave. And so the high school drama around here, being as pathetic as it is, I don't care to say this man's name because I just don't want him drawn into the bull, you know what. But I'm about to talk about Lake Fork, and not in a negative way, but in a very truthful way. I know you know my integrity is it's part of why just a handful of these guys don't like me, because I tell the truth. I give the true fishing report. I tell it exactly like it is. On the Texas Insider Fishing Forum, a report, on my reports, I tell it like it is, and I spill my guts. And but anyway, so the one reason again, I'm asking you to trust my integrity, that what I'm going to share with you, the value in it, it just did so much for me to bounce off of someone, first of all, as good of a seasoned veteran, long-term guide here that's seen this lake from beginning to end, seen it before the big fish kill in the 90s, seen the effects after the fish kill in the 90s, works with the Texas Parks and Wildlife all the time. And so, again, the integrity of him and myself is phenomenal, and I'm not trying to be boastful, but so here goes. The first thing that we discussed was I shared with him my opinion, and remember, there's always more than one way to skin the cat. There's no one way in this bass fishing. There's no way to master it. The first person that masters it will be a gajillionaire. Even Kevin Van Dam has not mastered it. He's probably won more tournaments than anybody else, but no one will ever master this sport. And so the first thing was I discussed with him the same thing that I've shared with you guys about how I feel about depleted fish populations, lack of grass, low lake effects. Why did we catch so many fish in the spring? Why was March, April, May, June, even July so good? Gosh, there was just so many fish. And you know, he bounced back immediately and said, yes, March, April, May, June, I was averaging 30 fish a day. So were we. So were a lot of the guides. So were the locals. And of course, Brooke Maurer and myself, my best friend Brooke, she beat the pants off those big fish. She made everybody jealous. She caught so many big fish. There's no doubt about it. Not everybody, but a good substantial amount of people that weren't catching them got very jealous over it. But that's not the point. The point is, where did all those fish go in the fall? Why is fall fishing on Lake Fork honestly pathetic? And it is. The facts are the facts. And the gentleman, this guy that I spoke to, was great friends with Mark Pack before Mark Pack deceased. In the last few years, Mark Pack fishing, Mark Pack even said the same thing. The falls we don't know what's happening. So now to come around circle and not really ramble too much. We talked about, again, did the grass removal have any effects? Of course it did. But there's no lack of fish. The Texas Parks and Wildlife actually says there's an abundance of 4-pound fish. Now, here's where we both kind of laughed. If they say there's a bunch of 4-pound fish, where are they? And why can't anybody catch them? The Texas Parks and Wildlife won't share that information where they come to the conclusion that there was 4-pound fish. The shocking surveys doesn't show the shallow water having the fish. There's an abundance of bait fish everywhere, a ton of bait fish. And the theory behind too much bait fish is a lack of predator fish. It's exactly like too many bunny rabbits, low coyotes. no bunny rabbits, too many coyotes. So we have way abundance of bait fish in this lake. Where are the bass? But then we both still came full circle. Man, I want to say his name so bad, I keep almost spit it out. We came full circle and said, wait a minute, back to March, April, May, June. Where are all those fish? And so the Texas biologists, even the Arizona biologists, even the Arizona game fish biologists, the California game fish biologists, I think, man, I don't want to start a fire, but I think some of their deductions and conclusions and the way that they mathematically conclude populations of fish, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know. Texas is definitely by far the best. But Arizona shocks the shallow water. And the fish are never in less than 10 feet of water, very rarely on most of those lakes. They're in 25, 35, 45, 50 feet. So they shock the 8 to 10 foot, or less, 0 to 10. And then they send out some fishermen for a week to fish for a week. And they make their decisions by that. I mean, what if those fishermen suck? What if the weather's bad? The fish aren't biting during that week when those 5 boats go out and fish. So some of the way that they come to their conclusion, it's BS. It's straight out BS. And so again, this is kind of the conversation that I had with this veteran, awesome 5-star guide of our lake. Right there in Lake Fork Marina is where we had this conversation. The fish are there. They're definitely there. Because next spring, they'll come out of the woodwork and we'll catch them again. What we both kind of concluded was, biologist reports or not, the fish that we were catching in March, April, May, June, the volume of fish that we caught day after day after day, day after day after day, same locations too, by the way, you just kept catching them, kept. They're just doing something different. They're doing something completely different, which is really strange. And there's a reason I'm sharing this with you guys publicly. I don't want you to think I'm bashing the lake. You'll see where I'm going. I hope you're not turning it off, because you're going to see where I'm going. It has a very positive end in it. I can go to any lake around here. I can go to Lake Welsh and crush them right now. I can go to Gilmer. I can go to Athens. I can go to Winsboro. I can go to Holbrook. I can go to Quitman. I can go to Bob Stanley. I can just fish fall patterns and catch fish. But I can't do that for it. And so the reason I'm trying to pull this full scale is we, the fishermen, the guides, I think we all need to just start thinking outside of the box, period. And go out on Lake Fork, if you do, and just try some crazy things. Try areas you've never fished before. Try depths that you've never fished before. We did discuss that, live scope is not also showing these fish. You can't find these fish. But there's no issues for crappie fishermen. They're catching them. There's no issues for the volume of catfish. There's no issues for the volume of white bass. But guess what? You can't catch the white bass. That was another thing we discussed. You can go out with your sonar and find masses of white bass, but you can't catch them. So there's some strange things going on in the lake, but potentially those fish, the bass, are just acting in a manner different than we are used to for sure in the fall. They've been doing this for about 3 or 4 years now. Most likely they're suspending. They're suspending somewhere in open water. And we're not able to sonar those fish because of it. We won't let the boat go over them. But something's different, okay? With that being said, listen, man, I've told you guys a few things. I am catching some fish when I go. I'm throwing square bills, rattle traps, jerk baits in the trees a little bit, shallow. But it's random. It's not a lot of bites. I love throwing an Alabama rig this time of year. I'll throw it on the roads. I'll throw a spoon. Remember I talked about a little spoon, find the yellow bass, big spoon once you're in the yellow bass, and you should hook up with some big fish at some point. That's kind of the gist of what's going on. But Lake Fork as a whole, I've not talked to a soul, pardon me, I'm going to sneeze. I've not talked to a soul that has had a good fall, period. I'm going to leave you with this. I was on a house to do some painting, by the way. And I showed up to do some painting, and the air conditioning guy was there. He's an average fisherman, a weekend warrior at best, and he probably only goes 5 weekends, a year, a season. And he even made a comment that he can go anywhere himself. And this before I even brought it up. He said, how do you like guiding on Fork? And I said, in the fall it's tough. He said, yeah, I hate it. He said, I've lived here all my life, and I don't fish it in the fall. I go anywhere else because I can catch fish. If I fish at Fork, I catch one. mostly shore fishermen. Why do they not use the banks on Lake Fork and fall anymore? That's my reason for this public rundown. All right. The lake is in great shape. 39717 as of yesterday, 39720 as of today. Water rising, fish should be on the banks. Nice warm trending weather the last couple of days. It's 70 degrees outside and shorts and t-shirt outside. Clarity 0 to 1, low 50s. Really, it's 52, 55. That's the range of the lake. There should be some really incredible opportunities to catch fish on Lake Fork. I will not tell you that they are gone, because I know next spring they're going to come back around out of nowhere, come out of the woodwork. I'm going to catch them. So, man, somebody out there, number one, thank you for listening to me ramble just a little bit. I promise you that the man that I spoke to, of all the men that I can think of besides Mark Pack on this lake, has more credentials than 95% of them put together. Outstanding man, minds his own business, and is probably just as busy as any of the top 5 guides on the lake, because he is one of the top 5 guides on the lake. And I'm grateful for that conversation that we got to share. The coolest thing about that conversation is how we concurred. There was no disagreement in anything he said or I said, period. We completely meshed and came to the same conclusions because we've seen the same results and experienced the same things on the water with our time on the water. That's it. So, man, guys, hit the like button if you find this good. I know you want a little more of a fishing report. I don't really have it because Lake Fork's tough. My report for you is go somewhere else. If you really want to catch some fish right now, just go somewhere else. Go to Athens and throw a little square bill. Throw a little brown and orange square bill. Throw a brown and orange square bill or a orange and red square bill on like a frit side, little Berkeley frit side, and you'll catch some fish on Lake Athens. You'll catch them good. Throw a little fluke, weighted fluke, in any shad color, and just cover some water. Fish the edges of the grass. There's lots of grass. You'll catch fish. All right. Comment below, and then I'm going to leave you with one last thing. I want to invite you to come over to the members only channel. I got a members only channel which gives a little bit more upgraded fishing report. Right now, there's not a lot of fishing report to give you, but I want you to actually come over to the upgraded members channel called Let's Talk Fishing. The Let's Talk Fishing channel has a lesson a week, a very, very in-depth lesson. In fact, the first 3 lessons have been over 25 minutes. This last lesson was 35 minutes. I filmed it Sunday. I film all the lessons on Sunday, and they're going to air. It'll air tonight. After you watch this show, once you've watched this public rundown, there should be Let's Talk Fishing. Tonight it's a 35-minute talk about terminal. I talk about weights. I talk about lead. I talk about tungsten. I talk about all the hooks that I use. I talk about all the little intricate paraphernalia things that you might need in your terminal boxes for not just fishing on fork, but just fishing in general. So come on over to those channels. If you subscribe to the members only, you get the members only upgraded fishing report. If you subscribe to the Let's Talk Fishing, you get both. You get the members only and the upgraded Let's Talk Fishing. And in Let's Talk Fishing, there's going to be a random winner once a month that's going to receive a package of gifts from my pro staff positions with impact lures, tie lines, UV, Lake Fork tackle lures, Go Fish lures, so on and so on. I'm also going to include the bait of the month. Whatever the best bait is on fork of the month, that winner each month will get one of those baits, maybe a couple of those baits. I'll probably end up down the road throwing in a t-shirt with it. So it's going to be a cool little package. Come on over to Let's Talk Fishing. You can find the link in the description below on this video. In the description, you should be able to find both links, the members only link and the Let's Talk Fishing link. Choose one or the other and come aboard. We'd love to have you. Thank you guys. Appreciate you watching. I'm Mike McFarland, the Lake Fork Fishing Guide.